Good, good morning, and you're welcome to another edition of Editors Hangout on your Shiny Supreme radio station. Editors Hangout is the program where journalists converge to dissect topics that raise eyebrows and steer national conversation. Today on the show, we'll be discussing the current insecurity situation in the country with particular emphasis on what is happening in Kwara, highlighting the successes, sustainability of the successes, and prevention and further occurrence of what we have currently experienced before within the state of harmony. Additionally, we talk about a critical issue in terms of the delayed legislative amendment of the Electoral Act and the current adjournment that we're witnessing by the Senate. Also looking at the danger ahead of the 2027 general election, its impact and the danger of the delay of the amendment of the Electoral Act ahead of the 2027 general election. So if you're just joining, good morning and you're welcome to the show Editors Hangout. My name is Adeyemi Adewale. Joining me on the show this morning to discuss these two critical topics are veteran and experienced vast journalist, Mr. Michael Abiodun Ladewaju, who is the general manager of Diamond FM, also being joined by Mr. Biodun Akinwumi, news editor on Diamond FM. Alhaji Abayomi Adeniji is also a very vast journalist joining me on the show this morning. So you can stay engaged with us and share your thoughts on the show. Phone number to call is 0913-655-6952. 0913-655-6952. WhatsApp is 0913-655-6864. 0913-655-6864. You can also listen and be part of this program irrespective of your location by logging on to any of Diamond FM's online platform. You can also listen via our website www.diamondfm.net or just check us across our social media platforms at Diamond 87 FM on X, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Similarly, you can watch us live on YouTube, Diamond 88.7 FM. Good morning once more, and good morning to my colleagues in the house. It's nice to have you join me again on another edition of Editors Hangout. Good morning, Mao.
Good morning to our listeners all over the world.
Good morning, Mr. Bayomi.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning, Mr. Akin.
Good morning, Giacomo, and good morning to all our listeners all over the world.
Good morning, dear colleagues. Let's get into these very important topics that we have to discuss on the show this morning. And let's start with the successes of the military operation to obviously dislodge terrorists within our state of harmony. And also we look at the impacts of their successes, what we need to do next, and how we are going to sustain this, and how we can prevent several other things from happening. Today, we're not going to be talking about the issue of the state policing in Kwara. Let's look at what we have presently. And this is because just this week, we got a report from the state government that schools are within that region have been reopened and students could go back to school. This is due to the successes I've witnessed in terms of the military operations in within the area. But let's quickly start from these successes. First and foremost, we need to say very big thank you to our military. We've seen videos and photos of them dislodging the camps of the terrorists in the villages, Mao.
Yes, we have to really appreciate the efforts of the military in the operations to dislodge the terrorists, the bandits, and what have you in Ifelodun, Edu, Patigi, and
in the Kwara South and Kwara North.
South and Kwara North. But by and large, when we see stories or when we see pictures of these dislodgements, we know that the military are really working. And it gives us the impression that our military are not just weak, but they are up to date in terms of safety of lives and property. Be that as it may be, one will look at what do we expect after this dislodgement.
Exactly.
Are we going to actually stop the terrorists, the bandits, from coming back and occupying these places where they've been dislodged? So this, I believe, should be our main focus and advice to the government in order to keep the society moving. And in doing this, I think that the presence of military permanently in that area will be one of the solutions to this, and making sure that there is government presence in some of these places will, to a large extent, be part of what I believe some of my colleagues will see as part of the solutions to make this issue of insurgency to come to an end in these vicinities.
Before we go into what Mao is trying to allude to, into it bans and how to prevent it, let's look at the current situation we have. We've seen a lot of success story, but it's has to say we are winning the war against the bandit. Because you know that there are still some people who will feel that those might just be images and might not be the true reflection of what is happening in those areas. Mr. Adeyemi, from what we've gathered in terms of reports, your reportage and experience on the job, are we winning the war against the bandits? Especially, let's start in Kwara State before we look at Nigeria at large. And also, you combine that with what has changed from, let's say, the past 1 year or since the president declared state of emergency in insecurity. What has changed in terms of the fight of the military? Well, let's start with, are we winning the war against this the bandit and insecurity in Kwara?
In Kwara State, I believe that the security forces are doing a yeoman's job. And I strongly want to believe that they have achieved considerable successes. What I think we do not know is that there has probably a change in the rules of engagement.
What do you mean by rules of engagement?
You see, in the past, we will hear that they have gone somewhere. Okay, we had the Owa of, is it Eruku?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh? Who said that the soldiers are in the Eruku township, but the bandits, the killers, the marauders, the murderers are inside the bush. And I remember KBC said that as of that morning, there was evidence that they had gone to some people's farms and killed their fowls and eaten food overnight. So the soldiers need to go in pursuit rather than simply staying in the township. That was the same kind of situation too we had, in which there were soldiers at Okiode and they killed vigilantes, I think at Babanla or somewhere around there. You understand? So it appears that the soldiers are pursuing them. Now it appears. Now, you see, because this is a security matter, the overall strategy is that there has been a state of emergency. There is a heightened deployment of, what is that, man and materials, or rather now, personnel and materials to the affected areas, inclusive of air support and marine support where necessary. In short, all forms of security,
state security,
all forms of security engagement apparatus. So intelligence is there, the land forces are there, together with air capability. We saw it in Kogi. You understand? In Kogi, the police released videos, police authenticated videos. So I believe, yes, there are definitely changes. If there were, for instance now, bandits that are in one location A, and their refuge is Kwara, that refuge can no longer be Kwara. And about schools, let me say very quickly, I know that yesterday some reporters went round, well, specifically I know they were in Moro, And Moro is one of those affected areas, local governments in the state, and schools have reopened. I also saw somebody from...
What about the situation of the place? Are people now going back there? Do they have a bit of confidence coming back? We know they cannot just live like before.
You know, the degree of threat it varies from location to location. I think it is reasonable to say that Igbaja Road, that is starting from Ajashepo to Okiode, then turning into Shagbe Oreke Babala, moving towards Awuruago, incorporating Isin.
Those axes.
If you draw up a triangle there, I think that is where you have the concentration of these people. And I strongly believe that, well, I want to believe that they will be trying to compress them in their various type of flanking movement as they know. But I think definitely in Kwara, the situation is better.
Now, quickly, Mr. Biodun, let's talk about what Mau actually pointed out. The fact that in order to sustain this bit of successes that we've reportedly said to have in those regions, do we need to have a military base in those regions? Because some will also ask a question: how many of these regions do you actually want to have the military base? He just spoke about the Baja, along the Okiode Road, because those along he spoke about tomorrow might not be concentrated, but immediately you do to Igbaja and the likes, and they feel safe. Those tomorrow too will want you to deploy the same thing you deploy that ensures security here. Same as those in Lafiagi, Patigi, and other axes that are even very close to Kogi and Niger.
Well, I think instead of having a military base there, I think we should localize the security in those axes. That's why I will implore the local government to do more. Because whether we like it or not, they are part of what the successes recorded so far. Because wasn't early this week or last week, there was a COVID in one of the local governments in the Ifelodun local government in Uruago. So that means that one is done in collaboration with the local governments. So, and to sustain this thing, I will employ local government to do more in having those local securities and empowering them, even the vigilantes, the people, and even the traditional rulers too, in terms of intelligence gathering. Because whether we like it or not, the military cannot stay there permanently. But at least for the meantime, for that.
So you think the military base is not sustainable?
It's not sustainable. It's not what they need, because military base cannot be everywhere. And even to go deploy military to go and solve that thing, tell us how deplorable that has been in the country. Because something like that should have been tackled by the mobile police. So for us to have employed the soldiers, at least they have tried, both the Air Force and the soldiers. So after that, I think what they need to do is to make sure that we have enough police there and even the local securities, so that you can be able to sustain those especially these forest guards that have been recruited by the state government. I think this is time for them to push them into the bush, because most of the people, their basis of attack is the bushes and those forests. So those go and occupy those forests and not allow those money to occupy, because whether we like it or not, it has been a range occupied by those forests have been occupied by those bandits. So those forests should go and be occupied by those forest guards and other vigilantes that will help them in support of the local government and the state government. So once that is done, I think those things will be sustained.
We need to quickly okay, let's continue our conversation. Now we're talking about the military base. It seems when you were talking, Mr. Adeyemi was not in town. I want to assume that he shares your sentiment in terms of the military base not being the solution, being based there, not being the solution to the problem.
It cannot be.
But let's look at what some have also talked about in years. Let's look at the rural-urban migration, because I also know that Chairman Mao also spoke about that. Spoke about I think that's what he meant when he talked about government agencies relocating there. Probably brings development into those areas. You think so far governors have even done well in terms of developing the urban areas?
You see, let us. Nigerian leaders have not done well across board. So at any point in time, some people are the leaders. So, you see, what we are seeing is essentially a breakdown in economic and social structures. You understand? Fortunately for us, the political structure is resilient because the real attack ultimately will be upon the political structure. Economic structures. In Ilorin, the place we call Opomalu literally is a cattle route. That is, it is a road for cattle. It's not a road for human beings. Now, if you can see that, for somebody to tell you that Opomalu in the center of Ilorin today was once a cattle route, it will appear ridiculous. Now, these cattle routes, because you see, this thing has to be taken from the beginning. And the beginning is that some people feel that their way of life is threatened. But unfortunately, that way of life is not sustainable.
Let's quickly go on this quick commercial break. We'll come back from the commercial break and we'll continue our conversation.
Lubo mara jí pépé mẹ́rọ́kà ní energy drink tó ń mara kọ́fẹ́ mẹ́rọ́kà ní o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká yóò mọ̀ gbẹlúra kára kọ́fẹ́ mẹ́rọ́kà ó dára ká máa ní lọ́wọ́. Lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ nínú mọ́tò tó bá ti fẹ́ máa rẹ ni mẹ́rọ́kà ni ó já sómi gbẹlúra ká gbára dé o. Mẹ́rọ́kà o mẹ́rọ́kà energy drink yìí máa dà. Kiri lọ́nà fún tọkùnrin tóbìnrin ló lè mú. Mẹ́rọ́kà ẹlẹ́dìrẹ́ǹkì máa dára.
Mẹ́rọ́kà agbára gbàǹgbà agbára tó jagbára lọ. Energy drink lọ́gán tó bá wọnú ara agbára ti dé. Àjọ NAFDAC jẹ́ ló ń tẹ̀. Ilé-iṣẹ́ tó lórúkọ tó ṣe gbẹ́kẹ̀lé dédé ká pọ̀ oògùn òyìnbó tó yí pharmaceutical ló gbé jáde.
Mẹ́rọ́kà ẹlẹ́dìrẹ́ǹkì máa dára.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We're talking about the rural-urban migration and the impact of probably state governance, because ever since President General Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into his administration, we've now heard more talk about state government doing enough. Now we're talking about some of the successes we've had, and we've all agreed in studio that military base should not be the thing. Governors should leave that place. I say governors, militaries should leave that place, and this should be something that the police can obviously undo with forest guard. We are talking about this. Some will ask the question, yes, we've got a lot of reports about successes in the states, and we know that schools reopen in some of the affected areas, or majority of the affected areas. From the government, they told us that schools should reopen in all the affected areas on Monday. But just yesterday, we heard report of another attack of about 10 people being killed in Kayama, specifically in two communities, in Woro and Nuku, in Kayama local government area. Those two communities on Tuesday evening. We got a report that about 10 people have been killed. They've been contradicting reports that the death toll seems to be rising to about 40 right now. Houses are being burned. So yes, we are having success stories, but it's not that the threats are not still there. That's why we're having discussions about what can we do to win this war completely. And Maho has spoken about a bit about rural-urban migration. Should that be something state governors should start considering? And if not, then what are the intricacies or the difficulties? Why do we see most state governments investing more in the cities and literally take little or nothing to the rural areas?
I think we cannot stop the rural-urban migration. But I think
we cannot stop rural urban migration.
We cannot stop it. We can only reduce it by making sure that we invest in those rural areas.
That's why we are asking the question.
So, and investing in those rural areas means in terms of electricity, good roads, and make sure
basic amenities.
And that is why, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that state like Oyo is ahead of other states.
Even Kwara?
Even Kwara, yes. In terms of, even Osun is even better than Kwara in terms of these rural roads that link cities, that link rural areas. Now, recently, the Tankere road in Ife was not commissioned by Komnadeke 10 kilometers. Now, what are the roads that link, for instance, that link Kwara South to the Kwara North? Now, Kayama Road was constructed during this first time of this administration.
Which Kayama Road?
They said they don't that link I mean that link Ilorin and Kwara North.
Sorry to interrupt you. See, if you are going to Kayama, there are 2 routes.
Okay.
Either you go to Bodesadu,
or you go to Oyo State,
or you go through Oyo State. The Bodesadu one is currently under construction by the federal government.
Okay.
Then Kishikayama, which is just 44 kilometers, it will take 3 hours.
Okay.
I was in Kayama in September.
Okay, I thought so.
However, I want to say Tinubu is trying.
Okay.
From Kishi Township, they have done about 3 kilometers.
Okay. Federal government or state governments?
Out of 44.
I haven't finished now. Okay. That's from, it's from Kishi to Kayama.
Okay.
Then from Aboki to Kayama, for people who are familiar, that road too is taking shape.
Okay.
I think you understand. At least they have done earthworks, they have done the basic drains from Aboki to Kayama.
Was it earlier this year or last year that I went to that region? There's this bridge that was not good. That was not good.
It's not that it's not good, it is outdated. It's outdated. To say it's not good, it was constructed by the colonial administration. So it is a mortar brick bridge. You understand?
Something be done to the bridge.
Well, that's why I say they are trying, but it is small.
Because me, at least I'm familiar with those Yipata side. Going to Patigi, I know those roads are in bad shape.
Yes, they are.
So, and those are roads that I expect government to have priorities on. Now, like the road that links, I know for your state, that link those zones, Isheyin zone to Ibadan has been done. Ogomosho to Isheyin has been done. So, these are critical roads that I need to be
even
done.
for the state government,
a lot to be done. So, the one that come from Sahara South, those to Umaran, to Omupo, those sides, if it is properly done, and they have pipe-borne cool water and road network, it will reduce the migration. The ones that the security,
increase population,
people will be able to go. So if I can stay in those places, I have assignments, I don't need to come to Ilorin, and those people will be concentrated. Then we don't have to talk about peace, having a security around us, those areas. So, and even those that are coming from other places, what are the criteria? What are the security that have been put in place to make sure that those that are security threats are not allowed to stay in those places? At least if someone is coming to a new place for the first time, be able to check where they are coming from. So if they are coming even in the midnight, there should be security that will be able to check them. Where are they going? Where are they coming from?
So in terms of the way you have assessed it, even the Kwara State government needs to do more.
A lot in connecting zones in Kwara State. Those roads are in the deplorable states.
You know what is disturbing to me about this issue? There was something called the National Economic Advancement Plan. Before then, we used to have development planning. Then one man came with something called structural adjustment, and he threw away development planning. All these things you are seeing, the refineries, the Jeba Bridge, the Lokoja Bridge, the Lagos, from the new Kata Bridge, the new Eco Bridge, and and then even this Badagry Sokoto is supposed to be part of a national link starting from Badagry to Sokoto, Katsina, Kano, Maiduguri, then down to Calabar. Then another one is supposed to start from Lagos to Calabar. I think it's under the 3rd National Development Plan. But somebody came and just set everything aside. In the State Economic Advancement Program, I think that one is 99 or 2000. One of the goals of that plan is that every local government area in every state shall be linked by a all-season, all-weather road. That is, Titi Oloda will link every local government headquarters to each other. Bisiaka, they did it in Osho State. You understand?
That's why also it's having a better road network.
So to say it is not doable is not true. It's simply a matter of priorities. So that means that, for instance, now, if you are going to Fufu, that's the headquarters of Ilorin South, you branch at Idofio. Then you go to Fufu, Ilota, like that. Now that road terminates at Okioyi, which is the headquarters of Ilorin East. Now, what is supposed to be done, that road,
should be motorable. I
mean, it should be fully motorable. And there is intense, heavy agricultural work in that area.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Then, we have when you are talking of the Patigi side, from Share Junction to Patigi Town is a federal government road. You understand? So we have that. I mean, those are the challenges. But this new road that is coming from Bodesadu is supposed to... Bodesadu is a local government headquarters. So it will link Bodesadu to Kayama and to Kosubosu, which is the headquarters of Barutin. That is on paper. That is the agenda. I pray that God will give our leaders and the contractor the capacity
let's quickly take a look at holistically in full scale in terms of our fight against the insecurity in Nigeria. Are we winning the fight, or probably we're just making progress, and in what percentage? If we both agree that in Kwara State, yes, the state government in conjunction with the local government and the federal government and security agencies are doing their best to win the fight against insecurity. However, the state government needs to do more in terms of development of the rural areas, just to stop rural-urban migration and bring development into the rural communities. But let's look at it holistically in terms of the federal government, because just yesterday we got a report that the U.S. security force have a part of their security force in Nigeria being deployed to Nigeria to fight against insecurity. And if it assumed that out of the state of emergency, we are winning this fight against insecurity, why do we need the U.S. again? Mao.
That information cannot be fully confirmed as of today. All that can be confirmed is that all the fight against insecurity with the security forces has been in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor. You get the point there. And the Office of the National Security Advisor has been giving much of intelligence reports, even than what people believe could have been in various locations. So definitely it's yet to be clearly confirmed. You get the point there. So that we should run away from the facts that a news item that we have not been able to confirm, we should be careful of bringing it into the air.
I also want to queue behind the GMO, because you see, in the enthusiasm to do our jobs, we must not, under any circumstances whatsoever, compromise the activities, actual or proposed, of our security forces. I do know that the United States, the United Kingdom, and Nigeria have long-standing military cooperation agreements at various points in time. So I am aware that, for instance, during Jonathan, there were a number of U.S. military consultants in Nigeria. I'm also aware that...
just to bring clarification.
Okay.
It has been confirmed, because Davison Anderson, the head of United States African Command, was the one that was quoted to say they have a part of their military sources in Nigeria to fight against the insecurity, ISWAP, and also Boko Haram in Nigeria.
See, even as we talk now, the defense people, Nigerian defense people, have confirmed that there is a small team of U.S. military personnel in Nigeria. And so, but what I'm saying is that it is not in anybody's interest to magnify the issue.
No,
do you understand?
We're not actually looking at magnifying the issue. No.
We're looking at the progress.
No. We're looking at the progress Nigeria has made to know the current situation. This is just an information into our discussion.
Okay.
So nobody is probably magnifying it or probably trying to blow the whistle or reduce the whistle. No, that's not the essence of the conversation. The conversation is to look at the effort of our security agencies and also to educate people. Now we have the United States coming. There's been a lot ever since Donald Trump made that statement about Nigeria. Some look at it about a fight against our sovereignty. Can Nigeria as a nation now hold ourselves? Why do we need... So that's why I'm bringing this up for clarification.
Let me say something. No, hold on. Let me say something very quickly. during Shagari, the chief of army staff was one man called General Wushishi. Then Buhari overthrew Shagari. Wushishi and Buhari went to the same military college in the United States. So the commandant of Buhari was who Wushishi called so that they will give him easy passage. I'm trying to say that U.S. military and Nigerian military, they have been there for long. You understand? It's not today. I don't think at any point in time, over a period of 12 months, there will not be some form of military cooperation between Nigeria and the United States.
So what we are trying to clarify now, the fact that we have a batch of the military in Nigeria is not a challenge against our sovereignty.
At all. You see, the issue now is, from Obama through Biden, the United States denied Nigeria lethal military resources. They could come in advisory role with blackboard and things like that, and light weapon, M16, things like that. But to give us, say, maybe 3 U.S. Special Forces instructors, they were not giving us things like that. To give us aircraft that will be able to provide air support for ground forces, low altitude. Not necessarily jets like the Tucano, which are turboprops. The U.S. was denying us.
So what's the
us.
response to some who feel during former President Jonathan, we had the U.S. military wanting to have a base in Nigeria, but Nigeria rejected. And right now, we're having a batch of them in Nigeria. That's why
I'm saying we are magnifying it. No, there are two different issues.
We are not magnifying. Let me ask the question.
It's a different from a base.
That's what I'm saying. Let me ask the question. Now, these are some of the issues raised by people, whether we like it or not, might be political, might be people's understanding. The essence of why we are here, we understand the situation, is to get clarification to people. That is what I believe. Now, there are some who obviously, I know there are a difference between a batch and having a military base in the country. But my own opinion is my opinion. I don't think my opinion should be what I should be speaking on while I'm sitting where I'm sitting. My job is to ask questions. I will get clarification to it. So, which is why I'm asking the question. There are some who will make comparison of both situations and say former President Goodluck Jonathan held his ground to say no security, no U.S. base in Nigeria. Why we have this under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that they feel is Nigeria is not like a puppet to the United States.
This is where I'm going. During that Jonathan time, there were U.S. forces in the Northeast. I can say it categorically. Yes. Do you understand? Categorically. There were even mercenaries there. A South African company called Executive Outcomes, where
they were employed.
Yes. And those that executive outcome was under the tutelage of U.S. advisors.
Don't let us get comparison between both of them. Let us get clarification.
I'm responding to the situation as you bring it up. You understand?
What we get clear, we need to enlighten the public.
Exactly.
That the fact that some U.S. military personnel are with the Nigerian military forces as of today
in fighting corruption.
Fighting
insecurity.
It's not that you don't see most of these people are not physically on the battlefield. Some of them are coming in advisory capacity. You get the point there. Then some of them are out to share intelligence with military brass here, which will help
us in fight against our insecurity.
There's this interdependence within nations. There's no country of the world that is completely independent. You have one interdependency or the other.
Relations.
And all these relations, interrelationship will come in forms of some of this military sharing of ideas. You get the point there. The fact that some of their personnel are around, they have always been around.
And it doesn't challenge the sovereignty of Nigeria.
And some of our military brass too, they go to most of these countries. They go to India, they go to US,
You are going too far. There are more than 1 million military personnel in the U.S. military personnel in the Federal Republic of Germany. Do you understand? The NATO Military High Command is based in Mons, Belgium. It is commanded by a U.S. general. In the United Kingdom, I believe at any point in time, they have 50,000 U.S. military personnel.
Let's quickly go on.
So that does not diminish the fact that there are foreign troops in your country does not diminish your sovereignty. The thing is that what are they there for?
Let's quickly go on this quick commercial break. We'll come back from the commercial break and we'll continue our conversation. Still listening to Editors Hangout on Diamond 88.7 FM. Quick commercial break. We'll be back.
Energy drink tó mára kọ́fẹ́ mẹ́rọ́kání o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jó mọ̀ pẹ̀lú rákàrà kọ́fẹ́ mẹ́rọ́kà ó dára ká máa ní lọ́wọ́. Lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ nínú mọ́tò tó bá ti fẹ́ máa rẹ ni mẹ́rọ́kà ni ó já sómi pẹ̀lú rákàbára dé o. Mẹ́rọ́kà o mẹ́rọ́kà energy drink yìí máa dára. Ó já geere lọ́nà fún tọkùnrin tóbìnrin ló lè mú. Mẹ́rọ́kà energy drink yìí máa dára.
Tẹ̀rókà agbára gbàngàn agbára tó jagbára lọ energy drink lọ́gán tó bá wọnú ara agbára ti dé àjọ NAFDAC jẹ́ ló ń tẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ tó lórúkọ tó ṣe gbẹ́kẹ̀lé dédé ká pọ̀ oògùn òyìnbó tó yí pharmaceutical ló gbé jáde.
Mẹ́rọ́kà energy drink yìí máa dára.
Welcome back from that commercial break. It's been an exciting show this morning. The number to call is 0913-655-6952. 0913-655-6952. WhatsApp is 0913-655-6864. If you are just joining us, we're looking at the insecurity situation, not just in Nigeria, but also in Kwara State. And majority what we are talking about today is look at the recent success that we've recorded of military security agencies alongside the government. It has been a collaborative effort that they've recorded in Kwara and also in Nigeria, especially since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced the state of emergency on insecurity in Kwara. What we're looking at, that we are also looking at a sustainability plan to ensure that the recent success that we've witnessed in the fight against insecurity in our state is being sustainable and being improved upon. In Kwara State, we've looked at the rural-urban migration, also for government to find a way to increase provision of social amenities into rural areas, giving them good roads, giving them social amenities in terms of electricity, water resources, that will go a long way in reducing the rural-urban migration and in turn improve and develop the rural areas. And when there's a lot of population there, it also makes it difficult for these terrorists to easily perpetrate whatever is happening in those rural areas. We also look at it in large extent in Nigeria, and also the fact that we got confirmation of report about a batch of U.S. Military sources to assist or in Nigeria to work alongside our military operatives in order to ensure that we have fight against our insecurity in our states. And we've clarified here, fellow journalists has also helped in terms of the clarification. This is not in any way, as it's been perceived, into a challenge against Nigerian sovereignty or means that our military forces are not doing the job or are not capable of the fight against insecurity in our dear state, Nigeria. But the phone line is open for your own reaction. And 0913-655-6952. That's the number to call. WhatsApp is 0913-655-6864. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Lamudi.
Good morning to you, Mr. Bamidele Gift.
Yes. You are talking of migration from rural to urban.
Mm-hmm.
It is more now. Because if you know the way people are moving from this country to Ilorin and Ofa, you know it's even getting worse. When you don't feel secure somewhere, you cannot remain there. And one thing that is troubling me is that why is it that we know where these people are? They are in the forest. Why is it difficult for Nigeria to win the war? That's the question. They are in the forest. We are talking of forest guys. Do we need that? Or what we need is technology. Let them be low. We don't even need to wait for intelligence. The only area that we need intelligence is people who are giving them information, who are taking food to them and some of their needs. Talking of those who are carrying out this nefarious act, this disturbing act, this murdering innocent people, is to locate where they are in the forest and ensure they are neutralized. Once that is done, we'll have peace. But I don't know why this is not possible. Those who are talking about America help or no help, we need America. I even thought American president to come to Nigeria. Well, you can't talk of sovereignty when we are not, when your people are being killed. Those who are being killed, I don't know, don't say they have a sovereignty to live lives. It's so unfortunate. We must get these things done seriously. I think government should forget about 2027 now. Concentrate on this story. That's the most important thing. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Bamidele Gift. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello, good morning. If you can, please call back. Number to call is 0913-655-6952. 0913-655-6952. WhatsApp is 0913-655-6864. Think I have this on WhatsApp. State governments are self-sustaining. Every state in Nigeria can survive and thrive with governors if the governor is enterprising and selfless. State governors should float a special purpose vehicle to engage in public-private partnership to ease access to education, a lot of basic amenities, which included internet service, healthcare, just a lot of that. The message is quite long, but thank you very much, Mr. Akolade Ayinde, for your contribution. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Dr. Olaki.
Good morning to you, Dr. Lanre Okiki.
I wanted to commend the efforts of the team of the journalists in the studio.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
May God bless you abundantly.
Amen.
So I want to make a very snappy point on the security issue of Kwara State. So, especially the present occurrence is a very sad incident. So, Kwara State government needs to be more serious on the security level in Kwara. So the criminal can never be powerful if the government is ready to deal with them. So, but according to Ogamba, he said the permanent military base is needed at those affected areas in the rural area. So Kwara again needs its own security initiative like Amatekun, but we need to give it another name instead of Amatekun. We have a community policing, we have a vigilante. Let them be updated and be sponsored more than they have. So finally, the permanent military base can be the way out of the affected rural areas. And the Americans, don't let us deceive ourselves. So even if the America come, so see the pardoning of criminals, so injustice, insecurity, indiscipline, pardoning of criminals. So see, that's the root causes for all those problems.
Thank you very much.
Even the America come, if we are deceiving ourselves, the problem can never be solved. Dr. Lanre Okiki, exponent from Itakure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lanre Okiki, for your contribution. Let's quickly move into our second topic for today, and it has to do with the amendment of the Electoral Act. Let's also tell you that just last week, the Senate constituted an ad hoc committee to provide a broader input and ensure that lawmaker views are fully reflected in the ongoing electoral amendment. Just last week, we had two, should I call it adjournment from the Senate, because most Nigerians are expecting the Senate to pass the amendment of the Electoral Act last week, but was last week that they obviously constituted the amendment committee of to look at the amendment of the Electoral Act that will guide the 2027 general election. Despite the fact that these have not been passed, we just got a report today that INEC has released the timetable of election with the electoral has still been asked. But let's hear from the president of the Senate himself while confirming constitution of the Amendment Committee last week. Senate got to Akpabio, the Senate president. Let's see if we can hear from him. And it's listing some of the members of the Senate who will be in that committee. And they've been given 48 hours to ensure that they submit to the Senate. The 48 hours they should have submitted yesterday. So we are waiting from the Senate.
Amendments to the Electoral Act 2022. The Senate has set up a small committee to further make conditions, galvanize, detail all the opinions of the two senators and present them to us. And I've also included very ranking senators as members. The Chief Senator Adamo Adero, the Chief Senator Waziri Tambua, the Chief Senator Adams Oshimole, the Chief Senator Mohamed Goche, the Chief Senator Tony Woye, the Chief Senator Tachi Zam, members. The committee has 14 hours, 2 days, to complete the assignment.
So there you have it. That's the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. The confirmation of the constitution of the Senate ad hoc committee to also look at the amendment of the Electoral Act. So they are expected to submit yesterday. That's on Tuesday, February 3rd, and we are waiting for the Senate to hear the report of the ad hoc committee. Well, this has actually not been received in a good light by most Nigerians, because some are right now sounding a note of warning. There've been doubts creeping in from Nigerians because majority expect this to have been passed. The 2027 election is just around the corner. And among the proposed changes into this amendment is also one that is in section 3 on page 45 of the bill, which seeks to curb results manipulation and snatching of ballot boxes by mandating real-time electronic transmission of results from polling units to the INEC results viewing portal. That is the IREF portal. We know this caused a lot of problem in the last election. In fact, this was one of the reasons why majority of the opposition felt the election was not free and fair and was not transparent, and the credibility of the election was questioned in the last election. Why do we have problems with passing with the Senate? Why are they taking enough time? Let's just hear from Falano, who has been one of those who has been criticizing the fact that the Senate are yet to pass the amendment bill.
Clearly, from the conduct of both chambers of the National Assembly, it is very clear that the members simply want the status quo retained. This rigmarole is meant to give the impression to Nigerians that proposed electoral act is being addressed, whereas while the National Assembly members were on holidays, there were 3 crucial issues that could really have abridged their holiday. From the look of things, the bill would be passed rather belatedly, would then be told under the law, as well as under the provisions of democracy and a protocol on democracy and good governance of ECOWAS. You cannot amend an electoral act 6 months to the election. From the look of things, it's been proposed that we should have this election in November this year, so that we're going to have 6 months to conclude election petition, because the popular position, that election petition didn't end until about 10 months after the election. We now want those provisions amended so that
There you have it from senior advocate of Nigeria, an activist himself, Mr. Falano, who has been very critical. Let's start from first of his allegation about the lawmakers. They really want status quo to remain. Is this part of the scheme?
Let me start like this. Out of the members of the committee that are to amend the Electoral Act, only 2 of them were not ex-governors. Almost all the members of the electoral amendment are former governors. So definitely that tells you to a large extent that it's more or less the maintenance of status quo. And above all, we have 2 cycle elections this year. It is coming up in June. So it's coming up in August. And we are now in February. We are still talking of amendment. Does it mean that since the Electoral Act of 2022 has been enacted, there have not been a lot of dynamics or some of the changes that has taken place that does not guarantee that the Electoral Act should have been amended since that 2020, since after 2023 election. The 2027 election is just a few months away. What have they been doing since that time that they don't know that this amendment is?
The report we got the House of Reps from their own place, giving it the get-go, is right now sitting with the Senate.
Let me tell you, if they are serious about amending the Electoral Act, they know how they do some of these public hearings. Like now they want to amend the Electoral Act, and most of this law has to go through public hearing. How do we do the public hearing?
We do it in Abuja.
Well, I think most of those senators, I think they did the what you call it, town hall meeting in all those political zones last year. And I think, as Mao said, I think it's about priority, and we should not forget that those.
Do you also think they are trying to remain status quo? Because that's what Mr.
All of them in the Senate, they are products of this last election. So how do you want to change, sir?
God bless you.
All of them are the products of
God bless you.
Amen.
You see, it's a very simple thing. The Electoral Act is a door through which you enter a particular office. Governor, president, senator.
Even the Senate.
That's why I'm giving now. Governor, senator, president, House of Assembly, is that door is the Electoral Act. Now, I have been able to successfully pass through that door. Do you understand? I am now in that office.
You're not telling me to change it.
Then you, who doesn't know even where the door is, you are now telling me that door is not good. Do you get? It's a simple. To me, it's a no. It's unique. It's
so what impact does it do to the 2027 general election? Because for some Nigerians, I don't subscribe to the word most. For some Nigerians, the 2023 election is not credible. And one of the reasons are because within kids, the real-time transmission of a result on INEC polling units. And moreover, even the litigations that led to the court cases, even after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been sworn in, some few influences were used to manipulate that. Does that also mean that 2027 election will also not be credible?
I think I will blame the opposition for playing to the gallery. Because in the 2022 Electoral Act, there was not a provision that electronic transmission is compulsory.
But now they are saying they should make it compulsory.
But those are talking. They are members in the House of Assembly.
Before the camp.
What's that for?
When did they decamp?
After many years. When did they decamp?
Should that not have been their first priority?
Now, when they gave them...
Hold on. Apart from that, you see, I don't know those people who are saying that why election is not credible. Anybody who say 2023 election is not credible.
You think it's credible?
I know it is credible. It's not I think. I am 61 years old. I have witnessed every election since 1979. The only election, the most credible election to me is the June 12, 1993. I just finished NYSC there. So it's not that I'm a small boy. So anybody who say election is not credible, in fact, in my opinion, and go to any scholar, who look at this matter, every successive election is more credible than the other. Maybe the exception you might say might be that of the one that brought Umaru. 2007. Maybe. You understand? Because I know that, you see, when they say rig, you can't rig if you are not popular. Because an election is the will of the people. If the election was not credible, Tinubu lost in Lagos, he lost in Kaduna. Lagos is his home base, Ashiwaju of Lagos. Which more credible can be than that one?
Nobody can organize any election in Nigeria and it will be credible to all our politicians.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Quickly, your name and where you're calling from?
Please, I'm very sorry for calling back. This is Dr. Laro.
Come back, doctor.
Dr.
I
Laro,
wanted to react
quickly.
briefly on the new electoral law. Except to remove the law that allows the process to be ongoing in our electoral systems in Nigeria that everyone will be in order. Corruption is the root cause of all the inconveniences and active devices are facing in Nigeria, and we need total change. But it is only through that can solve the nation. Can't be doing something the same way as they're expecting different results. Dr. Lally, you keep from it.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Good morning, presenter Anogama. We'll give kudos to the federal government and the state government for the excellent good job to erase and wipe clear all the issues of bandit terrorists and kidnapping from ground. Still, we need to pray to intervene, sir. Yours Utokwa Tichani, Engineer Mosteku. Sir, thank you very much. But you didn't tell us where you're sending your messages from. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. I'm Alaji Tayolo calling from Ofa.
Alaji Tayolo, quickly.
On the issue of rural urban migration, just I that it's a deliberate attempt to kill the rural area. I'm speaking with you. As a young school at that time, a teacher, I was teaching a place along the Vufu, Momiri India. Sometimes last year, I tried to go and visit that village, but what I saw was a nice shop. The place has been deserted. There's no any lot of development in the rural area. And that's why there is explosion, popular explosion now in the town. So the government is trying to develop the rural area. Right, to reduce the explosion we are witnessing in the previous cities. And it's even reduce insecurity issue. Therefore, the matter of insecurity, we have to give it to quality government. We have to appreciate the government for doing a good job. That's security. But then, security is not the affair for the security government alone. The populace, the people to have a role to play. And that is why in a village, where you see something, you see something. There is a lot of people coming to different villages. They are not even indigenous of that place. How do they get to know the terrain of the place?
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Spending money on intelligence. We should try to spend money on intelligence and try to recruit all these locals to become our informant. That's the best way to go out of it.
Thank you.
Hello. Another thing we can do is that even if we are not creating music in the villages now, let us be the watchtower. We have to can stay and see from afar if there's any impending danger.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much for your contribution. Our time is really fast spent. Good morning, our great analysts in the house. We want to discourage rural and urban movement in Kwara State, and we have our concentration on infrastructure in state capital. Are we expecting rural areas not to turn to ghost towns or villages? Femi David from Ilorin. Thank you very much, Femi David, for your contribution. Thank you very much to my dear colleagues for joining me this morning. My name is Adeyemi Adewale. I want to end with what our last caller just said. Also, the first time I would get to Kwara State was in Fufu, that area in Ilorin South. I mean, just 2 years ago, I went back into that area. It was a shadow of what it was when I first came into Kwara. So we urge the state government, please let's ensure development in our rural areas. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Adeyemi Adewale, and remember to take care of yourself. Good morning.
You cannot control me. You cannot.